Hey, welcome to Empower Network TV. How is our
Thank you.
future? How's our future looking?
Our future?
Yeah, and are you in over in Australia? Or
Yeah, I'm in
USA?
Australia. So it's
Yeah,
Tuesday morning here at about 8 a.m. and a beautiful hot sunny day. We're about to amp up through the week back into the 40s again.
beautiful. Well, I'm excited to chat with you today because, talking about past the comfort zone. What is what is beyond the comfort zone, Kay? What have you learned? What are you discovering is beyond that?
Comfort zone is our leadership and it's our freedom and it's confidence. And a lot of people will get actually stuck in their comfort zone. They'll have that aspiration to create change or, write that book, start that business, lose the weight, whatever it might be, the process is actually the same. And as they start taking action, by that very action, the subconscious false stories and beliefs that have held us where we are, that feel familiar, will come up and designed to literally pull us back. And then fear will come up. And then beyond that, the excuses and sabotage and overwhelm and all the reasons why we can't take action. And because of my shamanic background, everything for me is energy. And therefore, fear or the subconscious false stories and beliefs, and you'll notice I call it different because words have power. So if we keep saying my subconscious beliefs, we're instilling that they're our beliefs. If we're calling them out, that they're false stories, it's, even just changing that wording goes, well, they're false stories and beliefs. So I'm not going to give them that power. They actually don't have the power over me. But when the fear comes up, the biggest mistake that I find that people make is they want to suppress it. And you hear so many people say, feel the fear and do it anyway. A lot of people won't, or they will, but it just creates that level of almost anxiousness, right? Because they're dragging that fear with them. They're trying to suppress it. And everything has the right to have a voice. Everything is talking to us and actually on our side, guiding us to where we're going. So when fear comes up, I like to reframe it and say, fear is your friend. It's telling you you're heading in the right direction, but you're going to have to grow. And that means change your thought patterns, change your emotional, reactions to it, change your behaviors. And that's a letting go of who and how we've known ourselves to be. And I've got a process that's very quick and very simple where you can actually defuse those fears because it's in the suppression of it that actually feeds them and it weighs us down. And then learning that, to become courageous, learning that when the excuses come up, learning how to recognize them and why they're coming up. So everything is a sign telling us where we are on that journey of change. And then when we become conscious of that, we can make powerful and empowered choices as long as you're prepared to be courageous and know that confidence is on the other side of being courageous. If you're waiting to be confident, the most confidence that you can have is understanding the terrains that you've got to journey through to get to that other side.
Well, let's talk about your story then. Where did you learn all this? What type of life circumstances do you have to go through to get here?
Well, yeah, lots of adversity, but don't we all? Adversity is there for our growth. After all, we're soul and energy first. So, as a young child, I always had this powerful inner voice of knowing that was guiding me. Um, and it was teaching me, for example, if I'd go to try to have a conversation with my mother as a young girl or young teenager and she wasn't able to respond in the way that I felt that I needed, or um, as soon as I would turn my back, that voice inside me would be telling me what was going on with her, why she couldn't. It was literally educating me the whole way through life. And at the age of 5, I knew that I'd chosen to be here. My mother would tuck me into bed and I'd say, God, I know I chose to be here. Please take me home. And I know I have to be back in the morning. So I without understanding it, I knew it, if that makes sense. And then, I just didn't fit in. I was termed what people would now call an extreme empath. And, I love to teach empaths how to work with their energy, because you don't have to be this sort of victim to everybody else's energy when you know how to work with your own energy. So I had a lot of bullying through my life, I had a lot of accidents. I've had 3 major car accidents, come off horses and landing on rocks, and nearly drowned once. And I came to understand that I actually felt more comfortable with death, if you like, than I felt being here. And that's because constantly trying to understand who I am and then trying to do what everyone else does, fit in with everybody, instead of going, you know what, I'm unique. And I was playing with energy all my life. I was feeling animals and singing songs and feeling my connection. But it was after one of the car accidents, the first big one where I should have been killed, that I learned to meditate, because I couldn't shift the pain in the body. And I learned to meditate with my eyes open. And I had a profound experience with what I know to be God. I'd stopped using that word because of churches and contradictions that I found there. And, universe, great spirit, it was everything but that word. And after that experience, I knew what it was. I became an unsuspecting trance channeler. The message there was to actually integrate it, to understand it. So everything in life, and then even on that spiritual journey, seeking mentors, people were not nice to me. And I love them for it, because it kept guiding me back into that voice that told me beyond a shadow of doubt what was really going on. And I became very impassioned to guide others on how to do that. So everything that I was taught about healing, because I do healing work as well, everything that I knew about energy, everything that I know has actually come in from me constantly tapping into and listening to that inner voice. And when we can do that, we're not handing our power over to others. We're certain on where we need to go. We don't need to know the how, because we develop that relationship. And again, I don't use the word intuition, because I've never known it to be that word. It's the inner voice of knowing, power, and potential. So the aspect of the overall knowing voice is that of source, God, if you like, source. The aspect of that voice, which is power, is your soul. And we need to be listening to what the soul is saying to us. And the potential is our future successful self that's talking to us and calling to us with that aspiration for change, saying, come, you're already successful. Let me show you the way. Now, Amos, if you think of one voice that's got 3 components, how do you not take that advice? It's our GPS in life.
Mic drop. Boom. Love it. Keep going. Keep going.
So, when we listen to Google, I did this the other week. I put into Google where I needed to go. I'd never been there before. When Google says 100 meters, turn left, I don't go, are you really sure? Are you absolutely certain that that's what I need to do? Because I don't know what's there when I turn left. We don't do that, do we? We don't have this constant argument. But here's the interesting thing. When you understand the landscape of the mindset, when you change and reframe your language in a way that's, powerfully calling things out, and you know how to do that, and you must know how to work with energy, because everything is energy. So understanding the energy of what's happening, understanding the energy of the mind, understanding the energy of the emotional, understanding the energy of integrating all these things that start off as concepts, and when you do this, and the more you dial yourself into that inner voice of knowing, here's what every single client says to me. And I've been working with people since I was 25 and I'm about to turn 59. So that's a long time. Everyone says, oh my God, Kaye, my inner voice of knowing is so loud. It's so loud. There's no more doubt when I hear it, when I feel it, when I know it. And that's what's powerful, because then you lead yourself through your life. When you understand what you're moving through, when you understand the language, and it's all just a language, Amos, you know, the thoughts is, and when those doubts and excuses come up, it's a language to tell you where you are and what's going on and what needs to be done. With the emotional, you know, it's telling you this is simply an energy. And if you're being reactive and you're having that extreme emotional reaction, it's got nothing to do with the now. It's stemmed from the past. It's an energy saying this person that you need to grow into, you need this energy to flow again. You need that source of power back, right? And there are very simple ways then to actually work with that and tap into that and shift that energy. That's all healing is. It's like an updating of the wiring system. You know, you don't need to dive deep into anything because it's actually already there. And you will feel it when you need to know it. And then you need to know the tools of how to navigate that landscape and release it. So you're reintegrating that energy back into your system. And the same as being able to do, you know, the shamanic practices that I teach as well, is you're able to actually contact, because there is no such thing as time, that future successful self that gave you that aspiration that's calling to you. You do know who you need to be, because you can contact her or contact him and gain wisdom and advice. What changes did you do? What did you need to let go of? I've done that in decision making. I've actually called up when for example, when I was going through my first divorce, it was like I called up the aspect that was Kaye chose not to. She chose to stay. And the Kaye that left. And the way that this is the thing with your inner voice of knowing. Internally, it might sound like your voice, but it does not speak the way that you would speak. It doesn't always use the words that you would use. And that helps align you to it. So this voice told me where I was. I'd entered the forest of a rose forest, thorned. I was intoxicated by the smell, which represented the calling to be on the other side of where I was within that relationship. And I have three children, and that I'd gotten halfway, and I was so cut up by the thorns that if I went back, I'd never venture to do it again. So I may as well have gone the other side. I was told how I would be feeling, how long it would take, the process, when I would then meet this new relationship. I was told everything. And everything, every time I've used that in decision making or teach that practice to clients, even with accessing your future self and actually bringing that energy into who you are today, calling on that aspect when you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed or do a certain task. Well, what would my future successful self do? She'd get up, she'd go for that power walk, she'd come back, she'd do those tasks. And then we feel successful because of the actions that we've taken and the fact that we've also honored ourselves. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I just find it fascinating that as you're saying this, it really is an inside out planet. I came to this planet and I was trained to believe everything I need is outside. Affirmation, love, direction, hope, everything is outside. But the greatest journey is always for me, and I'm not there yet, but it's going inside to get all this stuff. It's somehow blueprinted there the whole bloody time. And I was taught to believe it was outside of me. And it's a lie. It's an absolute lie.
Well, the thing is, the way that I look at that is, and, are we ever there yet? I found some writings a while ago when I had COVID, and I was going through drawers and, cleaning stuff out. And I saw things that I had written in my 20s and in my 30s. And I was just like, wow, I've been saying this my whole journey, but what's taken place is it continues to deepen and it continues to expand within its understanding and application within my life. But remember, we're soul and energy first, right? So people go, oh, yes, I'm physical, having a spiritual experience. No, you need to harness that you are soul and energy first, and that soul came into experience. And the whole buzz of that journey is, to a certain degree, the forgetting. So we can't blame our parents or life, or this is the joy of this experience. And then when we turn our vision back inwards and we start to understand again, and science is now backing us up with this, that the universe exists within you. Everything is connected. Therefore, you and I are connected. I'm connected to the animals. I'm connected to the earth, to the sky, to the rivers, to one another. We're all one. And that source of all of creation that ever has been, ever will be, is inside of me. Therefore, it's inside of you. And that when we live with that, which means the universe exists within you, therefore you exist within the universe. So that means that the whole buzz is the remembering of that journey, and then the empowerment of learning how to, or remembering how to, consciously craft and create our reality. So you notice I don't even call it manifesting, because we've been manifesting all our lives. You've just been manifesting, or we've been manifesting unconsciously. But even the word manifest, it's almost like, I want to manifest some money. I want to manifest a car. I want to manifest this. But what about the life you love that's soul aligned with your soul goals? Now, a lot of people don't achieve their goals because they've come from here, of expectations, fed by what you think you want. We've all been there. God, I've been there, to those buzz programs, and yeah, I want the flash car and I want this and I want that. And then I go, but is that what my soul is calling to me that is a successful life? Because I'd rather create the life of success that encompasses those things if I so choose, and that I'm already actually abundant, and that everything your soul feels, and that worthiness, because we're all born worthy, because we're all the source, the universe exists within us, we're already abundant. We've just got to connect in with that knowing, and then it's projected into the external. Always has been. We're not even attracting, we're becoming it. We're realigning.
Hey, I love it. Thanks for fire hosing us with
Just want
value.